Boleh, Alisa?
Okay, madam. Thank you,
Alright.
madam.
Okay, now we come to the condition number 3 for state practice. Number 1, it must be a state practice by the states. It must be a state practice. Number 2, it must not be objected. Number 3, number 3 ni ada 2 cabang. Alright. Okay, number 3, it must be good to the states. It must be good to the state from the eyes of the public and also from the eyes of the jurist. Sebab tu perkataan dia, it has to be good from jus gentium, it has to be good from obita, opinio jurist. Right? Jadi from the eyes of the practice of the law or the jurist of the law, all right, it is good practice. From the eyes of the people, they receive the benefit as jus gentium. Dia dua ni jus gentium, all right, it becomes test number 3 or condition number 3 for, all right, international custom to exist. Jadi the people think it is beneficial to them, all right, jus gentium. For example, stamp, visa, asylum, all right, okay. And then from the from the opinio juris, it goes to court or it doesn't go to court, but the juries, all right, believe that it brings good to the public, to bring to the states or to the public in general. Therefore, these 3. But sometimes there are laws that opinio juris doesn't find it, all right, supporting. Right? Okay. Yang ketiga ni ada 2. Satu, it's good jus gentium. All right. Satu, it's good opinio juris. Example for the good one is on humanitarian action. Humanitarian action. It's so good. Later on, all right, the action of humanitarian action daripada Red Cross, they become humanitarian law in 1990s. You see? All right. Okay, so humanitarian ni dia ada banyak kan, dia state practice dulu, Red Cross International yang practice dia. Lepas tu England adopt dia, many country adopt dia. All right. And then it has never been objected. A lot of people, all right, take sanctuaries during the war because of the Red Cross facilities and exemption from war places. All right. Okay. And then the third one. The third one is it's good by the jus gentium. The public finds the Red Cross action on giving water, food, all right, places for these displaced people during the war. It's good. And opinio juris write a lot about it and agree that it's bring benefit because it was so good. Later on, it produced a new branch of international law called, all right, apa dia? Humanitarian law. Bila dia becomes humanitarian law, these 2 concepts govern together. The concept become apa tu? It become apa? Dekat dalam my articles, I put it, kejap saya tutupkan yang dekat sini. I'll open up the jus cogent. The word is jus cogent. Opinio juris. I've given you an articles on opinio juris. It is necessary for the action to be done. That is what it's looked at by the jurists when they talk about opinio juris. All right. The law says it's necessary. The law says it's good. It's bring benefit, and the people jus gentium themselves accepted it. These 2, opinio juris, jus gentium, they built up jus cogent. Jus cogent means the emerging new law from the practice of the states. All right. So the emerging new law from the practice of the states, all right, is in examples the humanitarian law. Right? Humanitarian law selalu it's always generate from humanitarian action. Right? Humanitarian action, usually you'll see it in the played by the Red Cross. In fact, they have a seminar, isn't it? if we are uh, in a if we are not in the position of COBE, there are always a seminar run by them, right? Okay, for international law, yeah, all right, okay. Now let's look into, saya nak besarkan dia, we look into the share document again. Okay, boleh? Right? Any questions? So with that, we finished looking into the international custom. In international custom, a few things and a few terminology and a few Latin maxim that you need to know, and all that must be in your explanation of international custom. So when you work, all right, you look for that thing, all right? Okay, because sometimes the solution for your states to solve a dispute, it's not available in the convention, but it has been done by other country. Tapi whenever it's not necessary, we don't have to follow them. If fully lockdown in New Zealand is good for the New Zealand, and a declaration of emergency is good for New Zealand, we don't have to follow them. That's not international custom. That is just, all right, an action of a state to cope with the situation. So when our country, we don't need to declare emergency like any the rest of the world, all right, because we know ourselves better. It's not declaration of emergency, it's not international custom. All right, okay, so that sometimes when we look into daily life, international law becomes very important, yeah, all right, because it can make you a better person because you understand it. Right, any other questions? Tak ada.
Madam,
Yes, saya must know.
for the third rule, the
Yeah.
custom must be good from the eye of the practice of law. Is it
Opinion jury.
right? Opinion juries, and
Yeah.
from the eyes of the people who
Just
receive the law, the pub.
Yeah.
Sorry, madam?
Yeah, betul. From the eyes of the people who receive the law, all right, gentium.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
And combination of that two, books will call it as jus cogent. Juscogen. Jus cogen, jus cogent, jus cogent, whatever you want to pronounce it depending on your slang. All right, tapi the word Melayu panggil jus cogent. C-O-G-E-N. Yeah. All right. Okay, jadi international custom, on the third rule, some books sometimes lompat. All right. Okay, they don't talk about the opinion juries. They don't talk about a jus gentium. They simply just say for the international custom to become evidence and become the source of international law, it has to meet the standard of jus cogent. Boleh? Jus cogent ni, all right, it's not yet. It's not yet. It's good, but then it has not meet the situation above, or one of the situation is not present to make jus cogent, to make all jus cogent as international custom. Right? Okay, baca dan tanya saya. All right, if you like. Right, now here comes the general principles of law recognized by civilized nation. This one is much easier to understand. All right, okay. Over here, the general principles of law recognized by civilized nation. You'll be very surprised what is the meaning of the word civilized nation. All right, civilized nation is a nation that all the people can read and write. All right, and majority, they call it not all, but majority will go to school. All right, to achieve civilized nation, all right, they must be eligible, isn't it? They must be able to read and write. All right, that's the reason why in the beginning of 1945, all right, United Nations has taken pay to send people, to teach people how to read and write, to teach people how to speak English, all right, to assist people to build up, to assist states, I mean, all right, to speak. They had schools everywhere. In Africa, they're still running schools for all the villages, all right, okay, civilized nation. They have these unit organs in United Nations, all right, okay, social, political, and economic organs, ECOSOC they called it, all right, okay, that go around the world making sure in Malaysia, long ago, there will be schools for the grown-ups, untuk orang dewasa, sekolah for women, and school for the children. And when I was in school, all right, long ago, all my science lecture teachers are from United Nations Peace Corps Mission. All right, okay, all right. We had our first graduate coming back from International University teaching me in Johor. All right, first subject taught by a teacher, all right, graduated from England in my general paper. All right, isn't it wonderful? All right, when I was in school, ever since I was in standard 1, all right, until I was in my form 6, actually form 5, and form 6. Lower 6, I was in the science school, and then I transferred myself into the art school. All right, okay, but anyway, having said that, the Peace Corps lecturer teaching us English, teaching us PJ, teaching us, except in a subject of Agama, Bahasa Malaysia, and a few things. Other than that, we learned it from the Peace Corps teacher. They all have yellow hair, green eyes, blue eyes, and I thought if I grow up, I will have a green eye too. If I'm clever enough, then my hair will change color. That was so many years ago. All right, then later on, I understand that it's not because you are going to school. That's because you were born with it. All right, okay. Now let's look into civilized nation. As I said, civilized nation, they go for all the nation that can read and write. Okay, and the United Nations take pain to make sure that all states, all country, all island people can read and write. They send their mission, sometimes in the form of Catholics, a church, sometimes just purposely a teachers Peace Corps group. All right. Civilized nation number 1, you must be able to read and write. It doesn't matter if you read and write not in English. If you are reading and writing in Arabic in France, that is qualified as a civilized nation. Number 2, civilized nation that the principle can be accepted as a source of law, that civilized nation must be a democratic nation. All right. In this world, there is only one country that the government is not by election. All right. That is Arab Saudi, and it has been recognized. Other than that, in order to have a civilized nation, the country must go through the democracy system. All right. Okay, what is democracy system? Right, the winning party will become the government. Okay, the people must be voting. All right, to be a winning party, voting, they must win majority. All right, okay. All right, maximum number of registered people must go. All that is just procedure. Okay, so civilized nation, 2 conditions. They must be able to read, and then there will be a democratic government nation. All right. Now, when we say about democratic nation, a country like Timor last time, before it was Timor-Leste, before it was Timor, now it is understood to be Timor-Leste, all right, is the last country in the world that is assisted by, all right, United Nations organs, bukan satu, banyak, all right, organs, all right, and then it was later commissioned as independent states. So that was the last civilized nation. Other than that, country like Taiwan, Israel, they are already civilized. But what is waiting is for them to perfect the condition in the statehood. Jadi, the last civilized nation that is being assisted by United Nations to be able, for the people to be able to read and write, and for the people to be able to have a democratic nation is Timor-Leste, right? Okay, now when they say civilized nation, right? The word is the general principle of law. What is general principle of law? This is general principle of law from common law or from the contemporary law, civil law, right? common principles of law. From the common law, the common principles like, right, natural justice. Right. In the natural justice, there are a variety of principles under it. The component is called natural justice. All right. Naturally, everyone will have this. That's why it is a principles of law recognized as natural justice. Example number 1 is odi autorem patem. That is a Lexile maxim that says everyone has the right to be heard. All right. Odi alterum patem. Odi alterum patem is recognized by civilized nations. Semua nation and civilized will be adhering to it. All right. Either that nation put it in their constitution or only in their state practice or state policy, it doesn't matter. As long as they recognize general principles of law. Number 1 is natural justice. Ada banyak natural justice, you can check. All right. Number 2 is equity. Equity. Equity means, I'll give you an example of the maxim, right? One must come with a clean hand. For one to demand a clean subject, one must go to the law with a clean hand. Jadi you must be, you are not faking, you are not trying to hide. You must tell the truth. All right. Other than that, there are in businesses, nemo dat non quod habet. All right. If you buy property like a car, you buy it, you get a title, right? That when you sell it, you must be an original title. You must have the original title to sell it. But if you steal the car, the person who bought it will be slapped with this general maxim, nemo dat non quod habet. So if you buy a stolen good, you will not get title to the car. It will be considered as stolen good. You must have a good title in order to pass the titles to another. Nemo dat non quod habet. Tadi apa? Apa tu? Odi alterum patem. Before that, what was it? Remember this one in thoughts? Res judicata. Res judicata. All right. The matter speak for itself. When you were walking in a shop and then suddenly the roof fall on you and you die. All right. The roof fall. There is no need to, all right, look into whether that's negligent or whatever. The roof fall, pay compensation in the law of thoughts. All right. Res judicata. Remember the lady that was in a white car. She was driving and then the bridge, part of the bridge didn't fall, but part of the bridge, all right, the stone fall on her. All right. And she died. That is res judicata. Okay. Right. So you see general principles of law. All nations will accept that. All right. All civilized nations accept that. And then when you go to court, you will be able to use the principles in order to, all right, solve the dispute. All right. Okay. So I'll give you an example for general principles of law. Right. Natural justice. Right to live. Hak untuk hidup. Right. Right to live. This is a case of siapa nama dia? Musa bin, alright, Musa bin Muhammad versus Pakistanis PP. Now this is a country. Musa bin Ahmad, alright, Musa bin Muhammad versus alright, PP, Public Prosecutor of the State of Pakistan. Alright. The facts of the case is this. What are we looking into? The point we are looking into is the case that general principle recognized by civilized nation. The general principle we were talking about is natural justice on a point of right to live. All right. Okay. Now the facts of the case goes like this. Musa is a person who the whole of his a clan or apa tu, a group or family, the whole of his group family is actually Muslim. All right. But he went overseas, he came back, he converted himself into Christianity. All right. In Christianity. Right. So he becomes a Christian and he wants his family to become a Christian, but they refuse. So he becomes a Christian, and he wants his Christianity religious change to be identified, right? So there is a convention, there is a constitution provision in the Constitution of Pakistan that, all right, you as a Muslim, you cannot convert outside Muslim, right? If you do so, you will be punished by death, right? So knowing that he is now a Christian, the police arrested him, all right, and prosecuted, all right? But somehow he got released because, all right, he promised to repent, but he didn't repent, all right? So they issue another warrant of arrest for him to be prosecuted. And you know, the sanction for that, all right, failure to observe the constitution, now he changed his religion, he will be put to death, all right, if he found guilty. Right. So before his prosecution, all right, he had submitted his case. In fact, he had already, all right, left the country and sued Pakistan government for the law, all right. He sued Pakistan government, all right. UK allowed him, represent him to sue Pakistan on the case, on the point that, right, okay, on the ground of general principle of law, this man Musa have the right to live, natural justice. And that principle, right to live, must be recognized by Pakistan as a civilized nation. Therefore, he should not be put on death, right? Okay, the law that going to confiscate him and probably found, the law that going to arrest him and then find him guilty is actually, all right, an illegal one. That is the case of Musa Muhammad, all right. Okay, so at the end of the day, all right, the case went up to the ICJ, right, but because it is with regards to human rights, all right, it goes to the European Court of Justice, all right. The matter was referred to the European Court of Justice. European Court of Justice is another international court to handle, but specifically on the issue of human rights saja. So they refer to the general principles of law, natural justice, that says he have the right to live. All right, okay. So over there, the court look into natural justice as a source of law that gives him the right to change his religion. But it's not giving him the right to change religion, giving him the right to live. You must remember, the discussion in this court is his right to live. All right. So the warrant of arrest is considered as illegal. At the end of the day, the court make a decision that his right to live, all right, his right to live, that is expected to be given by a civilized nation. All right. Okay, but they also make a decision that it is advisable that he don't live in a country where there is a right to take away his life according to the law. And the law says if you change religion, you will be considered as be punished by death. Jadi that is a clash, can you see? Right. So the European court respected the constitution of Pakistan, but then maintained that this man Musa have the right to live, but he was advised to live in another country, not in a country where the law allows for him to be put to death. All right, his right of life can be confiscated away from him. Right. At the end of the day, all right, the facts goes a little bit further. After the decision, Canada offer him, all right, a place to live. All right, so he lives in Canada where there is no such condition in the constitution not to allow conversion. Right? Can you see? Okay, general principles of law recognized by civilized nation, in this case, is used to solve dispute between two states. Okay, right. Now let's look into D. Ada sikit lagi masa dekat D ni. You garis this one, judicial decision, that is A. All right, okay, just write it first. The teaching of mostly highly qualified, the teaching of mostly highly qualified, that is B. All right, the C is qualified publicists, that is C. All right, okay, qualified publicists of a various nation, and D,